Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, we will be looking into few example queries based on the concepts we discussed in this chapter, Relational Algebra. Let us first see the relations we will be using in the queries. They are or employee relation with first name, last name, SSN and department number as its attributes. That is, this relation contains the details of all the employees. Next, we have the department relation with department name, department number and manager SSN as its attributes. That is, this relation contains the details of all the departments. Then we have DLOC or department location with department number and location as its attributes. This relation contains the locations of the departments. Next, project relation with attributes project name, project number, department number and project location contains the details of all the projects. And finally, we have the works on relation with employee SSN, project number and total number of hours worked as its attributes. This relation contains the details of the total number of hours the employees worked on each project. Let us now discuss the first question. Retrieve the names of all employees who work for headquarters department. Since we need the names of all employees, we know the details of employees are present in the employee relation or the EMP relation, and the details of headquarters department is present in the department relation. So these are the two relations that we need in this question, the employee relation and the department relation. And this is how we write the query for this question. We will be discussing them step by step. Since we need to know the employees who work in headquarters department, we first need to get the details of the department headquarters. So that is the first step. Let us see how this step works. Since we need details of only the headquarters department, the tuple with DName as headquarters is selected from the department relation and it is stored in this relation. So this relation contains the details of the headquarters department. Moving on to the second step in this query, we are joining these two relations. Now, why are we joining these two relations? We need the names of the employees working for headquarters department. So we know that the employee details are present only in the employee relation, and the details of only the headquarters department is present in this relation, HQ department. Therefore, we are joining these two relations. The only common attribute in these two relations by which we can join them is the department number, hence the join condition. We have already seen in our earlier videos how join operation works. So every tuple from the left relation combines with all the tuples from the relation on the right. And then only those combination of tuples that satisfy this given join condition, that is dnum is equal to dnumber, is displayed in the result. Here we have only one tuple that satisfies the given join condition. Therefore, that combination of tuple will be stored in this relation. As already mentioned, the only attribute that connects these two relations is the department number. And from this relation, we know that the department number of the headquarters department is 2. So we need to find out all the employees working in department number 2. We find that there is only one employee working in department number 2. So this is the second step. Hope you understood this step. Now moving on to the last step in this query. Since we just need the names of all the employees, we project only the first name and last name of the employees from the relation that we got from the second step in the query. So here only the first name and last name of the employee is projected and stored in this relation. Hence, Jeremy Jones is the only employee who works for headquarters department. Hope you understood how this query works. Now this query can be written in other ways too. Like for example, we can reverse the first two steps, that is, we can first join the two relations department and employee and then select the tuples with dname as headquarters. Also, we can write this query by replacing the join operation with natural join after renaming the join attribute which is dnumber, since we know to perform natural join on two relations, the join attribute should have the same name. You can try these alternative queries by yourself and you will get the same result. Moving on to the second question, For every project located in Stafford, list the project number, controlling department, and the manager's name. The project location that is mentioned is Stafford. We know that project location is present in the project relation. Next, details of the department and the manager is given in the department relation. And name of the manager is given in the employee relation or the EMP relation. This is how we write the query. Let us discuss them step by step. Since they've asked about the project specifically located in Stafford, we first need to get from the project relation all those projects that are located in Stafford. So that is the first step. Let us see how it works. Here the tuple with block or project location as Stafford is selected and stored in this relation. Now from this relation we have the project number and the controlling department, which is the D number. Next we need the manager's name. Now the department relation contains the SSN of the managers of all the departments. Hence, we need to join this relation with the department relation, which is the second step in this query. Let us see how this step works. The only common attribute by which we can join these two relations is the department number. Hence, the join condition. We already know how the join condition works. Every tuple from the left relation combines with all the tuples from the relation on the right, and then the condition is checked. We see that there is only one tuple that satisfies the given join condition, and hence that combination of tuple is stored in this relation. So now from this relation, in addition to the project number and the controlling department, we also have the SSN of the manager of the project located in Stafford. Now we need the manager's name, which is present in the employee relation or the EMP relation. Therefore, we need to join this relation with the EMP relation, which is the third step in the query. Here, since we need to know the manager's name, the only attribute by which we can join these two relations is manager SSN equal to SSN, and hence the join condition. Again here, every tuple from the left relation combines with all the tuples from the relation on the right, and then this condition is checked. We see that there is only one tuple that satisfies the given condition. Hence, that combination of tuple is stored in this relation. Now, as asked in the question, from this relation we have the project number, the controlling department, which is the D number, and the manager's name. Since we do not need all these attributes but just the project number, controlling department, and the manager's name, we project only these three, which is the last step in the query. Let us see the result of this step. So here the P number, D number, F name and L name, that is the project number, the controlling department and the manager's name, is projected and stored in this relation. Hope you understood all the steps in this query. Now let us discuss the third example. Find the names of the employees who work on all the projects controlled by department number 3. We know that the names of the employees are present in the EMP relation or the employee relation. The details of all the employees working on different projects are present in the works on relation, and which project is controlled by which department is present in the project relation. So mainly we use these three relations to write this query. Let us discuss this query. Since we need only those names of employees who are working on projects that are controlled by department number 3, we first find out from this project relation all those projects that are controlled by department number 3. Hence, that is the first step in this query. Here, the tuple with D number is equal to 3 is selected from the project relation. Now, from these selected tuples, we only need the project number. The rest of the attributes are not necessary. So only the P number is projected and stored in this relation. Now we have all the project numbers of the projects that are controlled by department number 3, that is 10 and 20. Now let us see a list of which employee works on which project, which is your second step. Once we get the entire list of all the employees working on different projects, we can find out from that list which all employees work on both these projects that are controlled by department number 3. So to know which employee works on which project, we need to project the ESSN and P number from the works on relation. These two attributes are the only required attributes to know which employee works on which project. The R's attribute is not necessary. So we project these attributes and store them in this relation with attribute names mentioned explicitly. Now, if you have noticed in the question, we have seen the keyword all. As we have already learned in one of our earlier videos, when we have this keyword all, we have to use the division operator. So here we need to find out all the employees who are working on the projects that are controlled by only department number 3. We have already found out the projects that are controlled by department number 3, that is projects with project number as 10 and 20. So we need the names of those employees who work on both these projects, that is project number 10 and project number 20. Now we already have the project numbers of all the projects controlled by department number 3 in this relation. And also we have the details of which employee works on which all projects in this relation. Therefore, to know which all employees work on all the projects controlled by department number 3, we have to divide these two relations, which makes up the third step. We have already learned how division operation works in the lecture on binary relational algebra operations. From this relation, we see that there is only one employee who works on both these projects. Hence, that result will be stored in this relation. Now that we have got the SSN of the employee working on all the projects that are controlled by department number 3, next we need to get the name of the employee. So how do we do it? By joining this relation with the EMP relation, which is the fourth step in the query. We do a natural join on these two relations. We have already learned how natural join works again in the lecture on binary relational algebra operations. To perform natural join, the join attribute or the attribute by which we are joining these two relations should have the same name. If they do not have the same name, we have to rename the join attribute such that they have the same name. Here we see that the join attribute is SSN. And since the name of the join attribute is same, we don't have to rename it. We directly perform the natural join. Here only the matched tuples are returned as a result of the natural join. We see that there is only one SSN from this relation that matches with this SSN from this relation. So the result of the natural join is a combination of these matched tuples, and from these combination of tuples, we project only the name of the employee as asked in the question and then store it in this relation. Therefore, Olivia Williams is the only employee who works on all the projects that are controlled by department number 3. Hope you understood this query. Now let us discuss one last example query in this video. Make a list of project numbers for projects that involve an employee with last name or LName as Smith, either as a worker or as a manager of the department that controls the project. So they are asking us to list the project numbers of the projects on which the employees with last name as Smith works on. And that employee could be just a worker or could be a manager of the department that controls the project. Hope you have understood the question. From this question, we see that to know which all employees have last name as Smith, we get it from the EMP relation. The project numbers on which the employees work on is present in the works on relation, and we can know the managers of the department from the department relation, and to know which department controls which project, we get it from the project relation. So this is the solution. Let us discuss this query step by step. Before making a list of project numbers, first we need to know the SSN of the employees having last name as Smith. Therefore, that is your first step. So here the tuple with last name as Smith is selected from the EMP relation. We see that there is only one employee with last name as Smith. Now from this selected tuple, we project only the SSN of the employee and store it in this relation with the attribute name mentioned explicitly. That is, instead of SSN, I rename it as ESSN. Now that we have got the SSN of the employee with last name as Smith, let us now retrieve the project numbers of the projects on which this employee works on. We know that the works on relation has the list of employees working on different projects. Therefore, we need to join this relation and the works on relation, which makes up the second step. Here we are doing a natural join and the join attribute is ESSN. Please do keep in mind that the join attribute should have the same name while performing natural join. Since over here the name of the join attribute is the same, we do not need to rename it. So here it checks if the join attributes match, and wherever it matches, that combined tuple will be displayed as a result of this natural join. We see that there is only one tuple where ESSN matches, and hence that combined tuple will be the result of this natural join. Now from this combined tuple, we only need the project number as asked in the question. So the project number is projected and stored in this relation. Therefore, this is the project number of the project on which the employee with the last name as Smith works on as a worker. Now we need to know the project numbers of the projects that involves employees with last name as Smith as a manager of the department that controls the project. Now a manager is also a worker. We have already seen the project number on which the employees with last name as Smith works on as a worker. Now a manager may or may not work on a project. He could just manage the department that controls the project. So first we need the list of managers to know if there is any manager with last name as Smith. For that we need to join the EMP relation with the department relation and check if their SSN match. So this is the next step in the query. If this SSN from this relation employee matches with the manager SSN from the department relation, then that employee is a manager. We already know how join works. Each tuple from the left relation combines with all the tuples from the relation on the right. Similarly, the second tuple from the relation on the left combines with all the tuples from the relation on the right, and so on. Then from those combined tuples, the tuples that satisfy the given join condition, that is SSN is equal to manager SSN, will be displayed as a result of the join. Here we see that there are only two tuples that satisfy the given join condition. Therefore, the result of this join condition will be a combination of these matched tuples. Now, from the result of the join, we project only the last name and D number or the department number, as the rest of the attributes are not necessary. This result is stored in this relation. As I mentioned earlier, a manager may or may not work on a project. He may only manage the department that controls the project. For that reason, we are projecting the D number or the department number to know the department he is managing. Now we have a relation with a list of the last names of all the managers and also the department they manage. From the question, we need to list the project numbers that involves an employee with last name as Smith, either as a worker or as a manager. We have already listed the project numbers of the employees with last name as Smith as a worker. Now we need the project numbers that involves employees having last name as Smith as a manager of the department that controls the project. So what we need to do is, from this relation, we need to retrieve only the department number of that manager having last name as Smith, which is the next step in the query. In this step, first we need to select the tuple that has last name as Smith from this relation. Clearly we see in this relation, there is no manager having last name as Smith. Therefore, this relation will be empty, that is, it will have no data in it, though this relation is created. The next step is to retrieve the project number of the project controlled by the department that is managed by the employee having last name as Smith. Therefore, we join this relation with the project relation to get the project number that involves an employee with last name as Smith as a manager. Since in the project relation, we have the department number or the D number that each manager manages, we join this relation with the project relation. Now we know that this relation is empty. So performing a natural join on these two relations will again result in an empty relation. Even though this relation is created, it will not have any data in it. Therefore, there is no project number involving employee with last name as Smith as a manager of the department that controls the project. Since in the question it is asked as a worker or as a manager, this keyword or implies that we need to do a union of the project numbers of Smith as a worker and Smith as a manager, which is the last step in the query. Here, if we had the AND keyword instead of OR, we would do an intersection of these two relations. We know that this relation is empty. We already know how union operation works. It combines the rows of these two relations. Since this relation is empty, the result will only have rows from this relation. Therefore, project number 10 is the only project that involves an employee with last name as Smith, either as a worker or as a manager of the department that controls the project. Hope you understood this query. With this, we come to the end of this video, the part 1 of example queries. In the next video, we will see few more examples. Thank you.